This week is about raising awareness for the mental health, and not a minute too soon, might I add. Mental health is something that doesn't get nearly enough airtime or attention, and this week is about surviving or thriving. And considering that 1 in 4 of us are going to suffer with mental health at one stage in our life, it's pretty fucking slack that it doesn't get mentioned more often. But how do we expect to understand it when most of us are too anxious to even talk about it? Let's cut to the chase and keep this real. You don't have to be in a wheelchair to feel crippled. But it doesn't seem to matter as much because mental health's invisible. And if the eye can't see it, the brain can't absorb it, and if no one talks about it, no one's ever going to understand it. Firstly, let's get rid of the stigma. It's okay to be a little bit mental. And suffering from mental health doesn't mean that you're fucked up. It doesn't mean that you daydream about killing cuddly animals. It doesn't mean you want to sniff your nan's vagina after an hour's yoga class, even if it does smell like an athlete's foot. It just means you struggle to get through day-to-day life more than the other 3 out of 4 people do. Now, you're always going to get the jockstrap there that's just about ready to tell you to man up. Well, let me tell you, unless they've laid in bed for a week in a dark room with the blinds down where the duvet feels like a lead weight wrapped around your weak body because your mind is paralysed through depression, they've not got the first idea how to man up. Oi! Oi you! Dog's dick! Dog's dick? Are you referring to me? Yeah, you, the one telling me to man up. Have you ever had a panic attack in the middle of a shopping mall? Has anxiety ever brought you to your knees? Have you ever felt so low that you wanted to jump off a bridge? Have you ever self-harmed by cutting your own flesh because that's the only time that takes the pain away from your mind? Have you ever ramped up thousands of pounds worth of debt due to a bipolar spending spree? Have you ever had a conversation with somebody that wasn't even there? You know, hearing voices and shit? Have you ever had your chest feel so tight out of the blue that you feel like you can't breathe and you're gonna die? What about anorexia, dog's dick? Have you ever been so unhappy with your appearance that you stop eating until you turn into a skeleton? What about PTSD? Have you ever been too afraid to sleep because the night terrors are too much to bear? How about breaking into sweat for no reason? Have you ever felt so scared and trapped in your own mind that you turn to self-medication? Well, when you put it like that, Liam, I can't say I have. And I don't really know what to do or say anymore. Funny that, dog's dick, eh? That when the tables are turned, you now look more socially awkward than me. You see, mental health is more common than you think. It's perfectly acceptable. And when you realise you're not on your own and you start talking about it more, it gets better. Now, there's no overnight cure, but the first step is admitting it, the second step is dealing with it, the third step is controlling it. Have I ever suffered with mental health? You bet your fucking banjo string I have. Between the ages 16 and 21, I suffered with anxiety attacks, panic attacks, PTSD. Do you know how I overcome it? I spoke about it. Then again, when I was 30, I let the black dog creep in. The love of my life died, and this time I didn't talk about it. Depression and insomnia crept in. And it stayed there until, guess what? Until I spoke about it. You gotta talk about it! Now, I know talking about it for the very first time is the hardest. You feel anxious about feeling anxious, then you become anxious, and the next thing you know, you're having a full-blown anxiety attack, hyperventilating in the hallway. So just skip first base. Don't think about talking about it. Just do it. Mental health will affect your relationships, your career, it'll damage your dreams, it'll cripple your confidence, and eventually it will fuck with your physical health too. You got to think about mental health as a bacteria. The less you speak about it, the more it spreads. Turn to your friends, turn to your family, turn to your GP, turn to social media. Just talk about it. There is no shame in mental health, and we've got to shake the stigma. You are not on your own. And 1 in 4, that's a quarter of the population, feel your pain. This week is Mental Health Awareness Week, and unless you're one of those people that sniffs your nan's knickers after a yoga class, you've got to speak up. You've got to let others know they're not alone. Do it for them and do it for you. Have a salubrious week, folks, and remember, it's all right to admit you're mental. Mental! Fucking mental!